the true loving relationship. For you guys that don't know, they don't get to be a part of the joy and fun. We're on Tuesday nights, the youth that come, we've been teaching Experiencing God for about 4 weeks. And we're still starting session 2 tonight with them. I know, there's just so much. So tonight we're going to talk about the true loving relationship of God. And it's often crazy, but sometimes we just overlook some of these passages in the Bible. And we overlook some of these situations that happen in the Bible on exactly of God's mercy. So tonight we are in 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. I know we read it already, but I like to read it. It reminds me, and it's just sometimes reading it twice is good. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It is not boastful. It is not arrogant. It is not rude. It's not self-seeking. It's not irritable. And it does not keep record of wrongs. Love finds no joy in unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come into the end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. Father God, Lord, this oftentimes we look at this passage here, Lord, and we just overlook the true loving example that you actually put before us. We look at these words as, this is just guidelines set for ourselves, but the true example that you've bestowed before us time and time again. Be with us as we dive into, we can truly learn what that true loving relationship is. In Jesus' name, amen. So like I said, we've been going over Experiencing God on Tuesday nights. We're only on the 2nd out of 7 realities of God. And so this is derived from that reality. That reality is God pursues a continuing loving relationship with you that is real and personal. And now you have to go through these 7 realities. And you have to go through each reality, and you have to accept each reality to truly understand how to experience God. If you haven't taken this study, Experiencing God is actually a very phenomenal study. We've met the son of Dr. Blackabean. He's a phenomenal man. But just to hear how it impacts people's lives is phenomenal when you read it. But when we hear this passage here, oftentimes we see it and we think, wedding. Right? Wedding. This is the wedding passage. Anybody wants to get married? Those 2 happy couples saying the vows? Odds are some of these vows are in their wedding. Not in Vegas. But in other places, these vows are in their wedding. And so here we see this and we think, all right, it's the standard for true love. Like, they say it to each other. When we say these words to each other, this is how we get married. And this is the standard that which we have been called to experience love for somebody, to experience that true godly love for each other. But how many oftentimes do we take a step back and do we see the times that God has truly showed love for us? Truly showed these exact examples of love for us. Not just put words on the page, but showed us like time and time again His true love. And we all know the one true love passage. You say, all right, how do you know God loves you? John 3:16. Everybody knows that passage. Everyone knows, even the non-Christians know that passage. And they know that's God's example of love. But we never look at other examples. There are other examples throughout the Bible that tell us about these. And there's stories that some of them you don't even think about. And some of them you don't ever really experience when you want to experience that true, genuine love of God. And when we look at these passages, we have to get excited and we have to see it that's God's love. And if He can love this person hundreds of years ago, then He can love us. Or if He can prove this point years ago, He can do it to us. And we never have to feel left out because of these examples. So here we have some examples here in Galatians 19, 12 through 13. Some of us know this story very well. Then the angel said to Lot, do you have anyone else here, a son-in-law, your sons and daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of this place. For we are about to destroy this place, because the outcry against this people is so great before the Lord that the Lord has sent us to destroy it. Here's a story example of God's love, and we overlook it. Because here, this passage is the passage we chose, but if you back the story up a little bit, you see these angels come to the city. And they meet Lot. And Lot brings them, and they're like, oh, we want to be in the courtyard tonight. And he's like, no, please, come to my house. We prepared food for you. And so they're feasting at the house, and they're enjoying that house time. And here comes the people of Sodom knocking on the door. Hey, bring those guys out of here. And see, it depends on your version. Some say they want to like kill them and stuff like that. Christian Standard Version says they want to have sex with them. Bring them here. We want to have sex with these guys. We want these guys for us. And Lot goes, no, you can have my daughters. You can have anybody else, but you can't have my guest. Please leave him alone. And he begs them to leave him alone. And so it comes forward, and basically there's a little fight, tiff right there. And then it comes to this time here. And here there becomes the demonstration of that true love that God gives us. And why does it become? It's because Lot didn't know the angels were there to destroy Sodom. He had no idea what they were there for. He just understood that they were from God. And so he brings them into his house, and he demonstrates this sort of kindness to them. And he demonstrates this sort of selflessness to them, because it's not, oh, well, you guys are threatening to kill me. You can have my guest. Like, if someone was threatening to kill me or my friends that just came over, you can have them. I'm okay. But but instead, he's showing that kind of love where these are mine. You can have, he even offers his own family. You can have my daughters. Just don't touch my guest. Because he truly understood what they were from. So he shows this kind of love, and because he shows this kind of love, then the angels tell him, hey, let me tell you why we're here. I want you to take all your family. I want to take everybody that you want to, that is your family, and take them out. Because we're here not to be your guest. We're not here to eat at your table. We're here to kill everybody in this city and make all the villages explode and blow up and rain fire from heaven. And we're here to destroy this place. But because of your love, we want you to go. Please go. And that shows, here we have two demonstrations of love. First demonstration, you have Lot. Lot shows, first off, the angels go in there with the mindset of, we're destroying this city. Like, there's no mindset of, I need compassion, like, go look for anybody. No, they go destroy that city. Like, okay, we're going to go destroy the city. Once you read that part, you're like, oh, no wonder why they want to hang out in the square all day. That's the perfect place middle of town, that's where you go and start killing people. Right? Like middle of town, perfect. But instead, they had no purpose of going to hang out with Lot. No, they'd go destroy the city. So here you have the example of us, someone actually demonstrating a love that shows, this example shows that these standards of love here is not hard. It's not something that we couldn't do. Because here, showing kindness, love is kind. That's the first part. Love is patient, love is kind. Lot wasn't like, oh no, in the story, he's not arguing with them like, hurry up, you got to come into our house. No, I just want you to come spend time with us. You're my guest now. Come. He's showing patience. He shows that kindness to him that I'm not going to give you up just because they want to have their way with you. No, I want you guys, you're my guest. You become my family when you're in my house. He demonstrates that kind of love. So that shows us that it's possible to do it. But then it shows that God reciprocates that love. And what he does is he shows that kind of mercy that only God can show. Because really, that one event, that doesn't mean Lot never sinned in Sodom. It doesn't mean Lot never did something wrong in Sodom where he could judgment and be killed just like everybody else in that town. But God, because he spent that one kind of mercy, he shows that love. Like, here's my love. Like, leave. My mercy is love. And then, of course, we all know what happens next. She turns around and gets pillared. But that's, you get an inch and you take a mile, and that's what she did, It's okay, though. So that's one of our prime examples of true love, because it happens. And that's Old Testament time. And we see it, and we see Lot. And he's showing that kind of love. And then we come to New Testament time. I picked two examples, and this is just two. I could go on and on. There's endless stories you could go on here. This is one I like this. This is one of my favorite passages, because oftentimes as Christians, we overlook so many little details in this passage. Everyone knows it as the faith passage, but there's so many other details you look at. Matthew 14, 27 through 31. It says, immediately Jesus spoke to them. Have courage. It's I. Don't be afraid. Lord, if it's you, Peter answered him, command me to come out to you on the water. He said, come, and climbed out of the boat. Peter started walking on the water and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the strength of the wind, he was afraid, and he began to sink. He cried out, Lord, save me. Immediately Jesus reached out his hand, caught hold of him, and said to him, you of little faith, why do you doubt? First things first. I had this conversation. It's actually pretty funny. Okay, we all call Doubting Thomas because he doubted that one time. Peter did it first. Right there. Right there. Why don't we call him Doubting Peter? At least Thomas doubted likely like, oh, Jesus died. Well, he knew Jesus. He loved Jesus. He hung out with him. Nope. I don't believe you. Call me out of the boat. Prove it. Did it first. Peter did it first. Just calling it. We're going to start calling him Doubting Peter around here. Something to take out. Write it on your notes. Doubting Peter. Capital letters. But this passage is my favorite because we overlook so many things in this passage. And it's so crazy. We could go on and on, but we're not. We're going to climb into just a little detail. First off, the boat is about a Roman mile away from the shore. Some versions say a mile, some versions say, but it's a documented Roman mile, which is about 4 football fields and then a little bit more. So about 4 football fields. So from here to California, that far. So here comes Jesus walking, and Peter, they all see him. It's a ghost. Prove that you're Jesus. Tell me to come to you, and I'm coming to you. And so Peter comes out and he starts walking, and there's a bunch of other little things in there that we can go into, but I don't want to share some of the stuff for Sunday night's sermon. I don't want you guys to cheat the answers. But there's other little things there. But then here, one thing I want you guys to notice. It doesn't tell us how many steps Peter takes. It also doesn't tell us how far away Jesus was. Far away that they could see him. Now, I can see somebody if I stand on this street all the way down there and still talk to them. So it doesn't take us this. But one thing it does tell us for sure is he's not right next to him. So he didn't run to Jesus. He didn't appear to Jesus. And this comes to where you think some people, poof, he appears. Some people, no. I want you to notice when Peter started to sink, Jesus help me. And Jesus reaches out his hand. So that means 2 things. It depends on how you think. It depends. On me and George had this conversation. It depends how you think. Me, I like to think Jesus is more of a physical kind of guy. He likes to move. Some people think he poofed. He appeared. But Jesus reached out his hand, right? So that means Jesus didn't just stand there and was like, all right, because unless you think this way too, this is up to you too. You could think Mr. Fantastic, right? Like he just reached his arm out as far as he could and here you go, come on out. No, he walks towards Peter and he pulls him out of the water. So he doesn't just let him sink, or he poofs to Peter, up to you guys. I think he walks because Jesus is a very personal guy, right? He spits in people's eyes and he touches people. He's a very hands-on physical guy. So I like to believe he physically walks to Peter and he pulls him out of that water. It doesn't say Peter made it to Jesus. Jesus, help me. And he's like, right here you go. No, it doesn't say that. All it says is he reaches his hands out and pulls him out. But Jesus pulled him out of that water. See, here we overlook these kind of things because we overlook this aspect of love. The aspect of love we overlooked with this is that Peter, first off, is a doubter. We've established that. Then he's somebody that doesn't believe in him after he doubts her. And then he's somebody that you're not, we'll find out if you're Jesus when I get there. Not now. But then it's like, oh, save me. I'm sorry. I lied. Save me. So he's almost mocking him in a sense of prove that you're really Jesus. That's like I'm going to hit you. Prove it. And then your sister hits you or something. You're like, yeah, it's true. You tell, I'm going to hit you. No, you're not. And then you hit him. It's same thing. Prove that you're Jesus. We'll walk on water. Okay. Then he starts walking and he pulls him out of the water. So he's almost mocking him to prove that who he is. And here Jesus doesn't care. It's not, well, I'm going to let you drown because you were making fun of me. I'm not going to, you're fine. Maybe some time under the water will teach you a lesson to not believe in me. There is no arrogantness in this, right? He's not making fun of him. He's not boasting look what I can do. I'm on water and you're sinking. There's no making fun of him here. Instead, Jesus does the one thing that a lot of people don't really, they expect Jesus to do it, but you don't really actually think about it until you lay your eyes and start thinking about it as he pulls him out of the water. And that brings out so many aspects of just pulling him out of the water. This aspect is he shows that true love. Because I guarantee you, Peter knew Jesus loved him, right? You tell somebody I love you every day, they know you love them. But how much do you really believe it until you see the physical proof? He probably knew Jesus loved him and probably felt a little bit of it, but this man just pulled you out of the water. If that doesn't say I love you, I don't know what does. He physically pulls him out of the water. So he's physically showing some kind of love to him, showing that true, genuine love. I am who I say I am. I'm not saying that I came to earth and I only love half of you. No, I said I love you and I mean it. And how do I mean it? I pull you out of the water. And then he yells at him, of course. But we're not going to get into the yelling at him part. Like, how dare you not believe me? But he shows that genuine love to him. He shows that kind of love that only God will show us. Oftentimes we take that passage and we say, God, I'm not patient. Can't be loving. I'm not patient. Can't be loving. I'm not envious. I do not boast. That's a lie. But we take this passage and we overlook so many things in it. But truly, God is truly showing that love because Jesus pulls him out of the water. And see, we take it and we overlook. Sometimes we overthink things that Jesus is really capable of. Yes, we knew he raised from the dead. Yes, we knew that he could heal people and stuff like that. But sometimes in our lives we've doubted that love. Oftentimes in our lives, we doubt that Jesus, why does he love me? Why does he care about me? See, to truly experience God, this is where the cool part of this study goes, is to truly experience God, we have to accept the reality. And you can accept a reality. Like the reality is whoever's president is president. That's the reality, right? It doesn't matter if you like him or you don't. That's the reality. Reality is that's it. Unless something happens. Just like if somebody dies, the reality is that person is dead. That is reality. Now you can believe it or you cannot, but the reality is they're dead. So the reality of this is God is pursuing a continual loving relationship with us. He's pursuing it and it's real and personal. It's that personal time with us. That is the reality and we can accept that reality all we want. We can accept it. We can accept the first reality. The first reality that goes with it is God is always at work around us. You have to accept it. Because if you don't accept God being at work, you can't accept that he's pursuing a continual relationship with you. That's personal. See, oftentimes we are Peter. We become Peter. We make fun of God. Like, God, you're not in my life. You're not doing this. Like, God, I wanted cornflakes. There's no cornflakes. That's your fault. What? I went to the store and they were all sold out. I wanted to play soccer and it's raining. God's fault. And that sounds dumb because they're littlest things like it's raining outside, so you blame God. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But people do it. People oftentimes blame God for the littlest things because we take his love for granted. We take God's love for granted. We take the fact that he really wants to love us, and sometimes he says no because he loves us. See, with my child, sometimes I have to tell her no. Her newest thing I tell her no to is she wants to eat chips for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Chips. I know. Little bags of chips she thinks is the coolest thing ever. No. And then she freaks out. It's crazy. But no. Why? Because I love her and I want her to be healthy and not lose all her teeth at 2. But see, sometimes God has to do that to us. He has to treat us like a little kid. No. And that's all he tells us. No. You can't have that. No. You can't do this. No. No. And then all of a sudden it's like, God, you're punishing me. My 2-year-old's probably thinking that you're punishing me. No, I'm not punishing you. I'm making you go to sleep because it's nap time. Like she bangs on the door. Let me out. No, you can't get out. It's nap time. Nap time means nap time. That's what it means. But she thinks I'm punishing her. Same thing. Sometimes we say, God, why do you do this? Sometimes we're, it depends on the person. But see, for us to truly experience God's loving relationship, we have to stop taking his love for granted. We have to stop saying, God, you love me on Sunday, but you don't love me on Tuesday. God, you love me on the days I go to church, but any other day I don't care. Well, any other day I don't want to pursue your love. I only want to be a Christian when people are watching. I don't want to pursue your love when people are not watching. And not pursuing your love, it makes me happy, makes me feel good. But then all of a sudden you start sinking and it's like, oh, hold on now, Jesus, come back. I need you to pull me back out of this water. I doubted you. I'm sorry. But to truly get to that, we have to truly accept his reality of he continually loves us. And he continually wants to get that personal relationship with you, that personal connection with you, that personal talk with you all the time. And he truly wants to get that time of day with you. It's funny, one of the things I tell the youth, and I tell them every single time I talk, and I'll probably tell them every single time I talk until I either pass out or they're done, they just stop coming. One of the two is you have to have a quiet time. Like, it sounds ridiculous, like, 15 minutes a day, that's too much. That's 15 minutes of my day. It takes me 15 minutes to comb my hair. That's why I didn't do it today. Right? Like, but you have to do it. Because having a personal relationship with somebody, it's not one end. It's not I call you every day and I talk to you every day and we're buddies now. Personal relationship. No, you have to give some to get some. And you have to vice versa. Same thing. God is always giving. And we're always taking. But how much do we give? How much do we truly give? So to truly experience God, we have to truly start giving to God. We have to truly start sharing to God. We can't overlook these verses here. We can't overlook what love is. Oftentimes we read it one time a year. When you read the Bible all the way through, you read it that one time and you're like, all right, I'm done. 2 times if you do a wedding. 3 times if you have your own wedding. But we overlook it because it's like, all right, love. All right, the love end is done. Let's go with the next passage. Let's go to Galatians where people are circumcising people. Let's talk about that. No, we have to worry about love. We overlook these kind of things because we take it for granted. We take that patience for granted. Like sometimes it's like, I'm not patient and I'm never going to be. Nope. But instead, I make myself laugh up here. But instead, because I almost fell, you guys just didn't see it. I tripped on my own foot. Anyways, but instead, we overlook this passage and we overlook the fact that God gives all this stuff to us. God is patient with us. He's very patient. It's like, God, I want. And he's like, okay, well, wait. Like, wait. He's kind to us. He's not mean to us. He doesn't yell at us. It's not, how dare you? He shows that kindness. He's not envious to us. God does not envy us. Let's just throw that out there. He definitely does not envy us. He doesn't boast. I mean, I haven't heard heaven open up and say, I made you, not you. What? He's not arrogant about it. None of these. He doesn't do these things because it does ultimately, and we all, of course, we know the John 3:16. But ultimately, it doesn't matter because everything we believe, every kind of loving example that we follow and we trust and we experience as true love always resorts back to John 3:16. And it always resorts it. And you can go to all these stories. I mean, another perfect prime example is the story of Abraham, right? Abraham's faithful. He follows God. He follows God all the way till he's like, hey, take your birthright, son, and I need you to go, got to do it. And he fought like, okay, God, I don't want to, but I trust you. And he follows God and he does it. And you know the crazy part about this story is he goes up on this mountain and he goes to sacrifice his son and his son gives a lamb. You know, if you backdate that and you fast forward where that mountain was hundreds of years, it is the same mountain that his own son was crucified on. The same mountain. He literally gives us a dress rehearsal of what his plan is for love for us. Right there. And we read about it. But oftentimes we're not thinking about his love. We're thinking about like, wow, Abraham, how dare you try to kill your kid? Like, I would never do that. Or, wow, Abraham's so faithful. Wow, Abraham's really looking to God. We never think of the fact that he was showing the people of his time, of that time, I love you guys, and I have a plan. You just have to look and listen. Because I guarantee Abraham was not quiet about it. You don't go up the hill and try to kill your son, and then you go back down like, oh, we just went on a nature walk. It was perfect. No, you're probably telling people what you just experienced. Like, that is not something you're like, what happened up there? Nothing. Like, nothing. We'll never talk about it. If my son talks about it, like, for real this time. No, you don't talk about it. You're serious. Like you tell people, like, this is what I experienced. And these people of this time were so hard-headed and they were looking to God, but they weren't experiencing His love so much that they just like, okay, well, that's great that you're faithful. I'm glad that God gives a sacrifice for us. He atones for us. But they don't realize that He has a plan. And oftentimes we read that story and we don't realize that He has a plan. So when we experience His love, we have to accept His plan. We have to accept that personal relationship, that I want you. Now give me you. Because a lot of times we as Christians, we're talkers. We are very big talkers. God, I want to serve you. God, I want to do this. God, I want to be a part of you. But how much do we actually do it? God, I love you. But how much do we show it? And oftentimes, the youth get tired of me talking about it because I always talk about how Christians are failing. Christians, are me included, are failing today. Because we oftentimes do this is we talk. And we say, hey, God, we love everybody and we accept everybody. But how equal do we make people feel when they come in? How many times do we greet? I tell the youth all the time, how many times do you greet the new youth that come in here on Sunday mornings? Because they come. I can't be the only one saying hi to them. I mean, I can't win everybody. I can try, but I can't. But how often do we do it? We're always talk, but not enough action. Christians in today's society is like, oh man, they took Bibles out of school. Oh man, they're taking prayer out of school. Oh man, they did this. Oh man, they did that. How dare, everyone's against Christians. But it's no, because you had a chance to stand up and say something and you didn't do it. Because we talk, but we never experience it. We never take action. We can talk about experiencing God's love. But it's our time to do it. It's our time to actually get involved. So it's time for us to take action. Because that true loving relationship takes two. It takes two to do a tango. I've never done a tango. I wish I could, but I can't. I got 2 left feet. I just tripped. You saw that, guys. Ain't no tango up here for me. But it takes 2 people to do it. We have to get involved. Here we go into next steps. What is next? What is next? Next steps is Ryan's thing. And since that good-looking man's not here, I get to do what I want up there. What's next? What's next? This goes into our invitation. And this goes into our time where we truly get to reflect with God. We truly get to reflect am I being the example? Am I really being that example that God wants me to be? Am I really demonstrating that love and showing that He truly gives it to me? Am I truly giving it and showing other people? Do I truly experience God? What is next is what is next in my relationship? I mean, I love everybody, but my relationship with God comes first before your guys' relationship. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. We're all equally important. But don't talk to me when it's my time with God. You talk to me after my time with God, because God is always first. And this is the time we go into this invitation and we come in and we say, God, am I pursuing you? Am I truly pursuing you for that relationship? How often are you trying to? How often are you saying, God, you're pursuing me. I want some more. I want it back. Is it just the time like Peter when he sinks and he's like, Jesus, help me. Pull me out. Because see, Peter wasn't pursuing love. He was mocking God. Until he started to sink. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, wait, I want your love. Come back. Pull me out. I need it. Peter had no intention of really caring about that figure until he got there. He didn't really care. They thought it was a ghost. Like, it could be a ghost. Hold on now. He didn't really, it could be Jesus, but it could not be. So he had no care about what it was until he was there. And then once he started to do it, he started to think, okay, maybe this is Jesus. I'm walking on water. Like I've been in this water before and I've never walked. I've tried, but I've never walked. Like, okay, maybe it's Jesus. Until he starts to sink. Then it's like, oh, even if you're Jesus or not, please help me. Please. You're walking on water. Please pull me out of this water. He didn't want that love until he started to sink. Now, are we that kind of people? This is where you pursue that relationship. Is am I that person? Am I only pursuing Jesus when I'm in trouble? Do I only want God's love when there's something wrong? Or am I pursuing God's love 24/7? Am I pursuing His love? Do I want it back?